Hello everyone, welcome to 2017. My name is Pete Lee. I just wanted to wish you guys all a happy new year and I hope it's been off to a great start so far. I know the Toronto real estate market is definitely off to a roaring start here in January. And this is a very special episode, not just because it's the first one of the year, but this is usually the episode that I bust out my predictions, insights, market analysis, and I tell my clients and my viewers where I think the market is heading. But of course, more importantly, I tell you where the opportunities are to buy and invest, or even to sell your home this year. So you definitely don't want to miss this one, guys, and we'll see you on the other side. Okay, so 2016 finished off really strong, guys. In fact, we broke through new ground and new territory by a huge margin. And as a refresher, in my last video, I talked about how we would probably be doing about 10 to 11,000 more transactions or total sales in Toronto and the GTA compared to all of 2015. So when the final numbers came in, we actually ended up doing 113,133 sales transactions, which is a ridiculous number. And again, as I highlighted in my last video, that number could have been a whole lot higher if there was actually more available homes for sale. I was pretty much bang on. Do I know this city or do I know this city? And with home prices up a whopping 20% from December of 2016 to December of 2015, that suggests that no holidays are sacred anymore. So while home buyers and investors are busy stuffing their face with cookies, chocolate, and turkey, they're squeezing in time to actually buy real estate as well. And it doesn't matter what day of the year it actually is. Okay, so now that we have 2016 wrapped up and in a bag, we're going to talk about the 5 major trends and predictions and opportunities that I think you should look out for if you're in the market in 2017. And these may have a major impact on your decision. So number 1, condos, condo townhouses, and executive towns. So since the federal government instituted the new mortgage changes in October of 2016, we immediately saw a reaction in the market where everyone started moving their demand and their money towards condos and smaller properties. In the last few months, we started seeing strong demand in condos and in condo townhouses where they were going up in double digits all of a sudden. And we even started seeing bidding wars happening. Now, I personally think that movement was already happening anyways because of the high prices of detached homes and freehold properties, that it was just getting out of reach for most people. However, when the government instituted their new policies, that was sort of like the last nail in the coffin. And so the stress test forced everyone to start looking at smaller properties and just getting into something instead of getting into what they really want as their be-all and end-all property, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing because it offers more prudent lending for the banks and all the big major lenders, and it just forces people to just think a little bit more modestly and, you know, not to stretch their finances too thin. Nobody wants to be house poor, right guys? Okay, number 2, tier 2 and 3 locations. Now, this is certainly not a new story again as usual. However, this is going to be more and more important in the Toronto real estate market in 2017. As home prices continue to skyrocket in A1 locations, there's limited supply and the demand is becoming more and more intense and fierce, it's not getting any easier to buy in the so-called brand name neighborhoods, which is forcing a lot of young and new home buyers sort of into the periphery of some of the more grade A locations. And some are even moving into sort of unproven or brand new communities, such as Bradford, which is not necessarily a bad thing because when you have new families and young families moving into new communities or helping to gentrify older communities, you start seeing more resources going into those areas to help support. And you start seeing retail shops and stores start popping up to also support the new neighbors. So again, some of the more seedier pockets in Toronto will become more gentrified here in 2017. And again, that's not really a bad thing. Okay, number 3, detached homes. Obviously, we cannot talk about Toronto real estate without talking about detached homes. And we saw how crazy they got in 2016, especially out in the GTA areas. So we cannot talk about predictions and market insights by ignoring the most popular product of all. Detached single homes are like the holy grail of real estate here in Toronto, in case you didn't know. And with most detached homes both inside and outside the city notching 20, even 30% gains, it's going to have a major impact in the market this year. And we're definitely going to see probably something a little bit similar to that again in 2017. So my prediction is I think we will see continued ridiculous gains in detached properties here in Toronto. However, I think we might want to factor in a slight change because as we've seen, a lot of the demand is going to the smaller properties in condos and townhouses. And so maybe some of that demand might actually be shed off and it may not be as crazy as it was in 2016. So I guess we'll have to wait and see for that. That's a big story to keep an eye on in 2017, guys. And you'll definitely definitely hear from me more about that later. Okay, number 4, far away GTA. So last year we saw some pretty significant movements in some of the smaller Tier 2 cities around the Toronto area, such as Barrie, Oshawa, and Keswick. Because with detached homes in Toronto well over $1 million today, I think there's an incredible opportunity to buy homes in the $500,000 range. And you can actually get a pretty decent sized home out in those cities, or maybe even less in places like Oshawa. So if your budget is around $500,000 to maybe $650,000, and you realize that you're not going to be able to get very much inside of Toronto, I would consider going outside of the GTA, you know, somewhere between half an hour to an hour away, as long as you don't mind the commute and the lifestyle works for you. But again, I would recommend that you get in sooner rather than later. And for investors who like cash flow and appreciation, I would definitely recommend the Tier 2, Tier 3 cities outside of Toronto as well, because the rental pool is high and the rent prices are actually not that different from Toronto, where the home prices are a whole lot cheaper. So it really makes sense on a month-to-month cash flow basis, and you still might get some appreciation as well. Plus, you don't have to pay the extra Toronto land transfer tax, which is a pretty significant savings on your bottom line. So if you're thinking of buying investment property and your budget range is somewhere between $400,000 and $600,000, you definitely want to give me a call. I'll set you up right, and you're going to do very, very well in 2017. Okay, number 5, and my final trend. Like I alluded to last year in some of my videos, and in particular the Bay Street video, where condos are now reaching $1,000 per square foot on the norm, there's an interesting arbitrage opportunity between the newer stuff, which is really in stronger demand than the older stuff. But however, the older condos actually have more space. They're larger, they have open concept floor plans. All they really need is a good renovation. And if you bring in some good design sense and decor, these properties could potentially look a lot more beautiful than the newer condos, which are pretty much like a shoebox, to be honest. Okay, so that's it guys for the first video of 2017. Obviously I could go on and on, but I want to try to keep the videos as short as possible. So if you've got a specific question in mind, or you wanted to discuss one of the 5 major trends that I've discussed here in the video, then please feel free to contact me directly and we will talk it out and figure out a solution for you if you're ready to do something in 2017. And we will also have some big news to announce here in the coming weeks for my brand, Selling Toronto. So I hope you guys stay tuned for that. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and also like my Facebook page, as we will have some really big and exciting news to tell you about in a couple of weeks. So I wish you all a fantastic, joyful, and happy new year here in 2017 as we get to press the reset button and start new all over again. So we will see you guys soon, and thanks for watching. I really appreciate all the positive comments, please. And for those that are trolling and trying to be negative, please go find somewhere else to do that. Negativity is not appreciated here. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye for now.